Joining us now, Sheila Dikshit, the former Chief Minister of Delhi. Thank you, ma'am, very much for speaking to us. I got to ask you, why the negativity? Why doesn't the Congress party, and I would put the same question to the BJP, come out on day one with your own volunteers or perhaps your own party workers or perhaps your own leaders, follow the rules? I'm sure you wouldn't break the rules, but encourage other people, ma'am, please, don't break the rule. Let's breathe fresh air. Why doesn't the Congress party, ma'am, do that in Delhi?
No, I'm terribly sorry, because the plan, as Mr. Bassi has also spoken just now, I've heard him, and I've been listening to what Mr. Kejriwal and his transport minister have been saying. Nothing is ready. It does not appear feasible right now. So why should we get into something which we do not know anything about? We would love to help them out. We are all suffering from bad air, from pollution, very bad pollution, the worst ever that we have seen. But you know, the plan should be known. Nobody seems to know the plan. How are our volunteers who are going to check everything? They are not legal.
No,
they
but
have
ma'am,
said they're going to
that's the point.
Make them charge no, listen, they are going to make them charge a fine of 2,000 rupees. Is that a legal thing?
No, ma'am, they're not going to do that.
Within the ambit of the police.
All, and this is what the Aam Aadmi Party is now saying. No, ma'am, let me just clarify. What the Aam Aadmi Party is now saying, yes, I mean, we still got a few days, so no law has been broken, that they will work A, under the police, and B, the police has made it absolutely clear, and you heard Mr. Bassi say it over there, that look, we are the enforcers, we are the people who are going to carry out the penalties whenever they are this. So therefore, it seems to be okay, ma'am, doesn't it? Why should one assume that
now,
these volunteers would break the laws?
Look, I wish we knew what was going to happen. About 4 days ago, Mr. Kejriwal said that we are going to try it for 15 days and then see, have a look at it all. Now, my point only is that as citizens, and I am a citizen, as much of a citizen as anybody else is, I have one car. I don't know which days I'm going to be able to go, which days I'm not going to be able to go. And who are these volunteers? Are they going to, they keep on changing their policy. They said they were going to get X number of buses. Now today they've said no, they can't get so many buses, they're going to get only 3,000. So there's confusion galore.
But ma'am, they are getting fewer buses, which is why two-wheelers have been allowed. I mean, I personally believe that having two-wheelers on the roads will make this less successful. But the two-wheelers are allowed because they've got fewer buses.
I know that, but that means, are you going to achieve your target to make Delhi a less polluted city if you're going to give so many exemptions? And you have to give them because you're not prepared for them?
Ma'am, most of the exemptions are to VIPs. They're to VIPs and emergency vehicles. I don't think VIPs should be exempted. Unfortunately, this is the system which exists in this country. But some of the important exemptions, I'm sure you'd agree with. For example, if a person is sick, right? And there is a matter of believing that people are not lying. So if a person says, I need to go to the hospital, I'm unwell, you can't stop them.
No. It's all not
so
just a matter of being sick. It's also, suppose I have to go to a death ceremony. Somebody is dying in somebody's family. You have to reach there immediately. What are you going to do? How are you going to convince them? What are the ways? How are you going to check on all this? Now you see, you have to be very practical. And I wish the government of Delhi had worked on this at least 2 months in advance, given out all the advertisements that people were expected to do or not expected to do. And suddenly you're told this is there, and every day it changes.
Okay, Mrs. Ma'am.
No, if you're changing, you're going to
Sheila, ma'am,
change every day.
I'll tell you what. Sheila, ma'am, I'll tell you what. We are not going to get into a crazy fighting debate, but Adarsh Shastri of the Aam Aadmi Party is here. You've asked some important questions. Just be on with us. Let me try and get a few answers. I think it's a valid point.
I don't want to.
No, ma'am, it's just.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be part of the debate. I want you to listen in.
I don't want to get into an argument.
No argument. No. You don't have to.
Yes,
you don't have to.
Listen to what?
You don't have to argue. You asked an important question. I'll just try and get an answer to that.
I have an opinion.
I accept. Ma'am, you don't have to. No debate, ma'am. No debate.
Now you may accept it. You may not accept it.
No debate, ma'am. I'm just trying to get an answer to an important point that you have raised. What happens if a person has to urgently go somewhere? A person is dying. in that situation, they are not being allowed to get onto their car. It's a valid concern. What answer do you have to that?
Absolutely. So there is a possibility that those kind of situations may happen. And the rule, when a rule is implemented on a trial basis, the rule is meant to be implemented in totality. So if there is a case like that, and if a person is out in his car and it's not valid for that day, then he or she should or could get fined. And I think that's the reality of the law, first of all. Secondly, there is a huge element where we have kept in, of factors related to trust, where cases where there are people who are sick in the car, or there is a disabled person in the car, those are exempted. But if you're going for, like ma'am said, going for a death ceremony, going for some emergency of that kind, well, the fact is the rule does apply. So you either choose an alternate way of travel, or you do try to take your car, and then you're liable to get fined. I see, rules when they are made, they are not made for exceptions. Rules are made for the larger number, and wherever it is in the world, rules like these have been implemented, they have to be followed in totality. And if there is an exception, there is well a fine. We are not saying that your vehicle is going to get impounded or you're going to be sent to jail. You just pay the fine.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
No. May I ask a question? How is going to determine that the person is sick or is lame or is small or is wanting to run to a hospital or an emergency? Somebody is going to stop the car. You're going to have to explain to that person, Bhaiya, this is why I need this exemption. And what's going to happen to the traffic behind it? Is it not going to lead to traffic jams? Because a car has been stopped in the middle
let's
somewhere.
try and get an answer.
And who is the person who is going to ask you this?
Sheilaji,
is the policeman going to ask you or the volunteer going to ask you?
It is only the policeman who will be enforcing this law. The volunteers that you were speaking about are those of the civil defense and not of the Aam Aadmi Party, as many are being made to believe. And their role is only to sensitize and educate people, and they will be fully following and working under the instructions of the Delhi police. So that is absolutely clear.
Well,
and as far as people being stopped on the road, those modalities are for the police to work out, and I believe they're going to set up barriers where such kind of checks would happen, which is very typical in the capital, Sheilaji. During various high security environment and situations and days, such kind of barriers are put up.
If you have 10 barriers.
Go ahead,
if you have 10 barriers today,
yes,
you will have 100 barriers
at the same time,
how is traffic going to
Sheilaji,
move?
at the same time, there's a trade-off, because you'll have at least 10 lakh less vehicles on the roads. So it's a trade-off. So you will have better traffic because you'll have at least 10 lakh less vehicles.
Ma'am, are you a little bit more convinced? We've had a very pleasant exchange. There's no fighting over here.
I am not convinced. I am not convinced at all. I wish them luck, and I wish the citizens of Delhi luck, that they are not inconvenienced without any rhyme or reason. So this is what, and please remember another thing, that pollution is not only because of vehicles, there are so many other things. Why aren't you stopping the burning of leaves all over the city? Why are you not checking cars which are polluting, which send out smoke? So there's a whole holistic question, but I wish you luck, because I wish Delhi luck.
All right, ma'am, thank you so much.
And not be inconvenienced, fine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your views on that. Sohail Seth has been looking around, and he is getting increasingly angry. That's Sohail's angry look. Sohail, can we say? That's right. It's a mean look, Sohail. You disagree with this plan vehemently, don't you?
I'm not angry at all.
You aren't. You think this scheme is going to work wonders, Sohail? Are you going to be cycling to your next destination?
No, I'm not cynical. I think, do we have a pollution problem? As Shastri said, we do. Do we need to work through it? We do. But we are Indians. We need an excuse to either juggle or break the law or circumvent it. I think Shastri used the word trust. I'm telling you, the scheme will fail because of us. It won't fail because of the government or because of the police. There'll be people dodging this scheme. There'll be people bullshitting. There'll be people lying. There'll be people fabricating. There'll be people getting medical certificates. So the citizen must ask him or herself, this is not an Aam Aadmi Party initiative, even though Aam Aadmi Party has gone to town over it. This is an initiative for us and for your children since I don't have any. A. B. I think, as Sheila Dikshit rightly said, I would have been happier if Arvind Kejriwal had worked this through in cooperation with Delhi police rather than taking them on every time. Bassi made an important point. You can't have a vigilante force, which I'm glad that Shastri has clarified, is not vigilante, but people from the civil defense service. Now let me tell you what the issues are and what I'm worried about. Aam Aadmi Party has used populism to tackle an issue that afflicts us all. 32% of pollution is caused by two-wheelers, 39% by trucks. We don't have a solution for that yet. I believe that two-wheelers should also come under the ambit of odd even. Number two, we've got to ensure that the subjectiveness that the police will inflict on the hapless citizen also evaporates. Because then what's going to happen is you're going to get into a typical argument. A guy's going to say, I'm sorry, I have a chest pain. The cop is going to say, no, you don't have a chest pain.
So that's what Bassi was worried about.
The scheme, Vishnu, will work only on two principles. Number one, do we want a cleaner Delhi? Number two, are we going to be honest about it?
Okay.
If we are going to dodge the system like we dodge it
you made
everywhere
lots of
else,
points. Let me get
we are our own biggest enemies.
Understood. I take that. Nalin Kohli also with us. I think Suhail makes an important point. Can we trust ourselves enough as a society, people in Delhi, in a city renowned for people breaking the laws, that everybody is going to come together now?
Delhi is the
forget
capital
about
of
their
freedom
own
fighters,
sense of
Vishnu.
forget about just believe in their own sense of convenience. Forget
They
about the
fight
laws.
for anything that's free.
Is this going to work? Is this not going to work because we are the problem?
Well, I mean, genuinely speaking on this debate, I don't think I can find fault with any point of view that's coming. Whether it was Mr. Bassi first, then Sheila ji, then Adarsh had some important points to make, and now Suhail. Because at the end of the day, this is not a political issue.
No.
The key in such an issue
Correct.
lies in the implementation. But that's true for anything. In this particular case, because it involves the entire city, the entire population, they have not, we definitely are seeing the problem areas. Like two-wheelers was one problem area. The second is, my concern is you put up barricades, you're causing a jamming up. Because a single bus also, when it comes onto the barricade, it slows it down. Cars will be less, but that doesn't mean traffic per se is going to drop dramatically because the two-wheelers and other vehicles, three-wheelers are all there. So there are implementation issues. Second is, if anything has to be done for the environment, which is an apolitical issue, it has to be done by involving all, even those who are vehemently your critics, because the plan is not political. And so far, in this entire approach, there isn't that involvement. So everyone's going to. Let's put it like this. I would have possibly.
They've advertised everywhere.
Fair enough. But I would have.
Kejriwal has been on the radio.
See, let me put
It's
it like
been
this
covered
way.
every day in the media.
Yes, you are looking at it from in terms of announcing the video, the point, implementation. Right. What I'm looking at saying is, I'm just simply pointing out without a political agenda or brownie points. If he's the chief minister, as he is the chief minister even of those who didn't vote for him and those who vehemently oppose him. Because this plan isn't the Aam Aadmi Party's next vote gainer. This is basically a plan for the city. So I would have said that instead of looking at a date in an inflexible manner, you could have just shifted it a little ahead, spoken to everyone, even those who are criticizing it, found where are those problems to make it a success.
But Darlin, we could have had the same problem even then.
Maybe.
Even if you pushed it later on, people would say push it even later still.
Okay, you
There's
point
no end
out.
to that.
Look, I'll tell you, Vishnu, if you're looking at it from skepticism, yes, that problem remains. But if
you're looking at it from skepticism, why don't you embrace it?
I'm not. I'm embracing it, but I'll tell you also equally honestly. No, it's not about I have a choice. Actually, I don't have a problem at all because I've got both the odd and the even car. So my father one day will step out, I'll step out another day.
But is that how you're going to do it?
No, but for those who can, it will. But the end of the day is that you see, I don't have the flexibility to travel from the High Court to the Supreme Court at short notice.
Okay,
unless public transport is available. You have to either walk it, which I like to walk.
That's my point.
I mean, I'd like to walk. It's not that I don't. I walk sometimes 7 kilometers a day.
Okay, Nalin,
but I don't have a choice in my professional field.
Okay.